Sanibonani Matrix, and welcome to another exciting lesson. In the last lesson, you learnt about the process of meiosis. In this lesson, you'll look at why meiosis is important and what happens when meiosis goes wrong. Here's a hypothetical scenario for you to think about. The strange imaginary little creature is going to reproduce. It takes one of its cells, and this cell undergoes mitosis repeatedly. As the group of cells grow larger, it forms into a new organism. This new individual is identical to the parent organism because all its cells were produced by mitosis from one parent cell. This is what happens when an organism undergoes asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves joining together of cells from two different organisms. Each organism produces a specialized cell which will fuse with a specialized cell from another organism. The resulting cell then undergoes mitosis and grows into a new organism. But here's a problem. Let's say each of our hypothetical parent creatures has 4 chromosomes. There will therefore be 4 chromosomes in each of the cells that fuse together. This means that the product of the fusion will contain 8 chromosomes. This is incorrect. Our imaginary creature has 4 chromosomes. Somehow, we need to prevent the doubling of chromosome number each time an organism undergoes sexual reproduction. You learned in the previous lesson that meiosis is a reduction division. It halves the number of chromosomes in a specialized cells. That means when the specialized reproduction cells fuse, the original number of chromosome will once again be attained. If it were not for meiosis, sexual reproduction would double chromosome sets every generation. This is one of the reasons why meiosis is important. Before the specialized sex cells can fuse, the chromosome number is halved. But there's another reason why meiosis is important. Think back to our hypothetical situation where the imaginary creature underwent asexual reproduction and basically produced a clone or identical copy of itself. If something were to change in the environment of this little creature, it is quite possible that as a species, this creature would not be able to adapt to change because all the individuals are identical. But if variation existed within the species, although some individuals might not cope with the change, a few might have the capability to cope with the change and survive. Diversity in a population will make that population stronger and be able to survive environmental changes. And this is where meiosis once again becomes vitally important. During meiosis, 2 mechanisms brought about genetic diversity or variation. Can you remember what these 2 mechanisms are? In prophase 1, the homologous chromosomes came to lie close together. The chromatids from different homologs touched and exchanged genetic material. This occurred during the process of crossing over, or synapsis. Then in metaphase 1, the homologous chromosomes aligned in pairs along the equator. There was random assortment of homologous chromosomes. What we mean by this was that some maternal chromosomes will move to one pole while others will move to another pole, and which move to which pole is completely random. This mechanism brings about a mixing of maternal and paternal homologs in each cell. It's almost as if the chromosomes have been shuffled, in the same way you might shuffle a deck of cards before you play a game. Genetic variation enables individuals to produce physically and genetically unique offspring. Because of this, a high degree of genetic diversity or variation exists in a population which reproduces sexually. With only mitosis, there would have been no sharing of genetic information. Only division would have been possible. In such a situation, there would have been only cloned identical populations, which would eventually suffer from diseases or natural disasters. Thus, meiosis helps to create a population that is not only physically and genetically different, but also one that is fit to survive. Okay, Matrix, see you at the next lesson.